A new study shows doctors and nurses are being overwhelmed, and not because of too many patients. The problem? Too much noise in the hospital.
Constantly beeping alarms can cause what's now known as alarm fatigue. And according to a study, it can lead to dangerous delays in treatment. Fox 9's Jonathan Cho is in the newsroom. So Jonathan, how are hospitals here in the Twin Cities responding to this?
Well, none of the hospitals we contacted would touch this one, but the study shows doctors and nurses sometimes ignore alarms when there's a real patient emergency because it's hard to determine how serious it is.
If you've ever been inside a hospital, you've probably heard this sound, or this beep, or this one. Then imagine hearing it all at the same time.
You really have trouble being able to focus on even preparing your day.
Linda Hamilton is an ICU nurse at Children's Hospital in Minneapolis. She's been working with newborns for years and says when the noise starts to add up, it can be distracting on the job.
Another alarm can be like, woo, 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 all the time. Sounds like a siren going off.
A new study by the Joint Commission takes her claim even further and says constantly beeping alarms in hospitals are potentially being linked to more than 500 patient deaths.
And it's very easy to just kind of blank and say, I think I need to attend to this right now. And then that noise comes on and you forget, you lose your place. What was I doing? So it interferes with safety at the bedside as well.
Because of this alarm fatigue, the study shows doctors and nurses sometimes ignore the sounds when there's a real patient emergency.
Because you have more than one babies you're caring for and both alarms are going off, you have to look and decide, okay, which one do I have to deal with first?
None of the hospitals here in the Twin Cities would directly respond to the study, but the Minnesota Hospital Association released a statement saying patient safety experts are familiar with alarm fatigue, but it is important that hospital staff not turn off or disable those alarms. They are there for patient safety. Hospitals are working to find ways to reduce the cumulative noise.
Sometimes the loudest alarm in there can be one of the least important.
Hamilton, who also heads the Minnesota Nurses Association, says alarms are important, but a new standard for determining urgency needs to be developed.
Which alarms are going to be life-threatening? They should sound different than an alarm that a kid wiggled his toe.
Adding to the confusion, some alarms even in different machines can actually sound the same. That's why the Minnesota Nurses Association wants hospital leaders to work with device manufacturers to change that. From the newsroom, Jonathan Cho, Fox 9.